welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We are talking about Real Housewives of Potomac Reunion Part 2, and we pick up where we left off. They're taking a break, and Mia went into the back to talk to Stacy because they had just finished talking about the whole Miami trip where, Mia blew Stacy off.
Yeah. And
yeah, she went and she apologized to Stacy, and Stacy said that her apology just didn't feel genuine and that she's going to need some more time. So then Mia goes to her dressing room and she's crying. And Andy goes in and he kind of gives her like a pep talk. He's like, need to give yourself some grace. You've admitted that you've done wrong. So, just kind of move forward.
yeah, I felt like he was falling for that damsel in distress act, but
I mean, what's he going to do?
I know it's kind of his job to kind of go in and
right.
at least if nothing else, get her back out there.
Right. Exactly. Then they come back from the break and Andy asks Giselle how life is as an empty nester. And she says, I was legit sad for 28 hours. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is amazing. I'm waiting for that myself.
Hell yeah. We just had 24 hours of it and it felt pretty damn nice.
Yes, we did. We had our 24-hour visit to Atlantic City.
Mm-hmm. I like that she said that there's 4.0s all around.
Yes. Yeah, because
You know?
he asked how the girls were doing at school, and he said, they all have 4.0s.
Amazing.
He asked how the relationship was with Jamal, and she said good. If you were asked, do you know why Jamal and his wife dressed up like characters in Wicked for their wedding?
That was wild.
And she's like, Andy's like, they did? And she's like, did you see the pictures? And he's like, no, I hadn't seen them either.
Did they show the pictures? I forget.
They did not.
They did not.
They did not. I didn't even bother looking for them because I thought that is the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Especially when he said, is Jamal a big Wicked fan? She's like, I don't even think he knows what it is.
Exactly. Exactly. And supposedly he dressed as Elphaba, which is the Green Witch. I don't know. I don't know.
Jamal was Elphaba?
I don't know if they were joking, but that's what they said.
Okay.
I don't know.
Now I feel like we're going to have to look up some pictures.
I think we're going to have to.
That was wild. And the girls were horrified.
Yes, they were horrified. He asked how the girls' relationships were with the new wife. And Giselle's like, they don't really know her. It would be good if they got to know her and that they did have a relationship, but they don't really know her.
It's kind of a hard time with them being away at school.
Definitely.
Like, really, when are they going to have the opportunity to know her?
No, I agree. And especially if they're doing a costume party for their wedding, which is strange.
It's yeah.
Yeah. So then he asks how Nnamnse's doing, and she said stronger than ever. And she said Josh and him are actually very close. They hang out together. And then he asked Ashley how things were going with Josh, and she said that she's kind of slowing it down a little bit. She wants to take a little bit of a break. But the interesting thing is, I guess he couldn't ask them, but they were both filming Love Hotel, both Giselle and Ashley. So they were out dating. Right?
While they filmed the reunion or like around the same time?
Before they filmed the reunion, after they finished the season, I would think, right?
So that's probably why she probably is seeing him. Like, would she say, like, we're just chilling a little bit now?
Well, she said, I'm slowing it down a little bit. But Giselle said, well, according to Josh, he really likes you, Ashley. So Ashley's slowing it down. But Giselle said that she's stronger than ever. So maybe Ashley found a connection. I don't know. But I
know we're going to have to wait and watch Love Hotel. This is how they're going to get us to do it. Not that we wouldn't anyway, but.
I know. I just thought that whole thing was a little interesting, right?
That is very interesting.
Then Andy asked Ashley, what does Josh think about the nicknames as Pool Boy or Jack Harlow? And Ashley said that he was offended by the things, particularly that Wendy said that that it was a lateral move to Michael, which that was shady. And Wendy said, well, he'll get over it.
It was shady. And he will get over it. And I'm glad that Wendy brought up what she brought up about what Ashley said about Eddie, because that's way worse than saying it's a lateral move or calling the guy Jack Harlow.
I mean, she brought up a rumor.
Yeah.
That was on the vlog. She brought up a rumor. And I mean, that was a couple years ago.
Yeah, but come on. If somebody's saying that your husband's cheating on you, you don't get past that. And that person should certainly not ever try to say that you said something about their person
Well, she
and
did.
find it insulting. Like, you said my husband was cheating on me. So
She just brought up
checkmate.
she brought up the blog, and Andy asked her a question about how he felt about it, and she answered it.
Yeah, no, she's got the
Listen,
right to,
I give Wendy a lot of credit for having that in her, like, memory bank, to be quite honest with you.
I don't forget that. That's when I was like, Robin's got to go, because she's hiding all this shit about Juan, and he really was stepping out, and now she's trying to say that Eddie stepped out. Come on.
Okay, so then Andy asks, oh, no, also Wendy says, well, my husband's amazing, and I'm still married to him. Good luck with you and Josh. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Andy asks Kay, what is the current status of you and Greg? And she said that they're still together. They actually looked at rings last week, but she also admitted that they took a little break and she moved out, and she's in the process of buying her own condo, which I think is amazing.
Totally.
I'm so glad that she's doing this. She said it will be a premarital asset, which absolutely it will be, because all the girls are like, wait, what? And then once she feels like they're in a better place, then she'll move back in. And when she gets the ring,
And now she's got a rental property.
And now she's got a rental property
in her name only.
Or a fallback if this doesn't really work.
Exactly.
Right? I give her a lot of kudos for that.
Me too. She's a smart businesswoman.
Yes. She talks a little bit about, how Greg doesn't feel comfortable on camera. And we all said that. We could all see it. Andy said, but he did say that, he's there to support you even when he was at Watch What Happens Live, which he was.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
And he's there. He's at the reunion with her.
Yes, he absolutely is. And some people just don't like the camera. And then Andy said to Stacy, people seem to think that TJ really liked the camera. Stacy said that her and TJ are not together anymore. And Stacy said that she's consistently said that he is one of the best people she's ever met, and that they're still good friends, and that there's been a lot of pressure after she watched it back, and she got some heat from her family about the way he spoke to her and the things that he was saying. So she said it was very hurtful for people to say I was paying him to be on the show, to say people said he looked more interested in the trainer than me. And Wendy said, well, that was me.
Yeah.
And Stacy said, I know.
I thought it was nice that Wendy, because she did apologize for it.
She absolutely did apologize.
But it was interesting that she apologized to Stacy for saying that, and her reaction to Ashley was, he'll get over it.
Yes.
Like, there's no love lost there.
No. And the fact that we see at the end, Wendy's the one who gets the text message. I mean, so Wendy genuinely apologized and planned on going forward. But now what's going to happen is now she's going to wind up throwing her under the bus.
She sure is.
Saw it all play out, though. Like, it's not like,
It wasn't on purpose. Like,
Right.
But I'm sorry, Eddie and Greg FaceTiming TJ. Maybe Greg didn't know what was going on. Eddie knew what he was doing. And I would imagine that Eddie and TJ had a conversation prior to that FaceTime about what they were going to talk about.
You think so? Maybe.
He's in a car driving.
I know.
Like, when you're in a car driving,
you don't take a FaceTime.
Escaping fires.
Right.
You don't really take a FaceTime call unless you anticipate what's happening.
That's a good point.
I mean, he did know that they were filming the reunion that day, so maybe, but
he didn't, though, because that's what Eddie said to him. We're here filming the reunion. Where are you at? And he said, I'm not doing that fake ass shit. So I don't know that he did know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Very good point you're making, though.
Yeah.
Andy asked Stacy if her and TJ are still best friends, and she says yes. And
not for long, Stacy.
Yeah. And
check then back with us in about an hour.
I know. Andy asked Stacy, well, a viewer said, was TJ there just to boost your storyline and boost his career? It gives Walter and Kenya. And I was like, well, we've been saying that the whole time.
We said it from the beginning.
She didn't really answer that.
No, she didn't.
So then they move on to how everyone in Potomac really reads each other on fashion.
Well, she did before that. Stacy did say she's already divorced.
Yes.
Which was interesting because of how long Ashley's took. But,
yes.
Different situations, I'm sure. Although it does sound like Stacy's ex has a lot of money, but I guess maybe he wasn't, Ashley and Michael, he was much older than her. I'm sure there were concerns from his older children, like just a different vibe. Their marriage was a bit of a different vibe.
Definitely a different vibe. And she said that, that they have 1 week on and 1 week off. So, they're co-parenting and everything seems to be going good for her.
Yeah, like it seems like everything's amicable and her daughter's doing well, which is the most important thing.
And then, like I said, they're talking about the fashion. And I don't know which one brought it up, but was it Wendy that said the only one who should be, no, maybe it was Stacy. The only one who should be wearing 613, it was Stacy, should be wearing 613, which is the shade of blonde, is Karen. And Stacy said it's really hard for me with Vivian because the whole thing came up about Vivian that, when they're going through the fashion, they're going through the stuff that Wendy wore and Mia wore the same dress. And then they're going through a couple other dresses. And then Ashley says, well, you didn't show this, but that dress that Stacy wore at the finale, I wore that a couple months prior. And then Andy says, yeah, Vivian made that dress special for you. And Stacy,
that was interesting.
Yeah, Stacy's like, it's just, I did her this favor. Like, I've known her a long time, and I thought I would give her this platform where she'd be the only designer. And the girls were like, oh, you're elevating her? And she said, yeah, I'm elevating her.
She gave her an opportunity. That's not a lie.
Right. I thought
I
what she was saying.
I don't know if the word elevate is appropriate, but listen, you interpret it the way you want. She did give her an opportunity. We didn't know who Vivian was before this.
No. And even though she was Karen's friend, we didn't really know her.
Nope.
Right?
I don't think we saw her before this season, did we?
I think we may have.
But maybe we didn't know, like, she was a designer or she had a boutique or,
Right.
Yeah.
But, obviously she gave her that dress to wear at the finale knowing that Ashley had worn it already.
And knowing that that was going to cause a stir.
Yeah. Yeah. So, they're talking about the 613. And so Stacy said that Karen's the only one that could wear it. They were going over the insults that they were giving Stacy about her wig that she wore that day. And Mia called her Whitney Houston, whereas Ashley called her Little Orphan Annie.
Not one of them wouldn't take Whitney. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But Stacy said that she was a little, she thought that they would have been more receptive because they had all been giving her a hard time about her hair to begin with because she had never changed it. And Giselle was commenting that she had never seen her ears, which I thought was a little odd. Like, why do you need to see her ears? Like,
she wanted to make sure she wasn't an alien and that she was a human being.
I don't know.
I mean, that was great.
Andy said that he's never, ever texted a housewife before over her fashion, but he did text Wendy over her Michelin Man blue outfit.
How about that? I thought that was funny.
I did,
if
too.
Andy texts you about your outfit.
Yep.
And it's not like, girl, you look good.
Yeah. It's like,
that's
what
really
were you thinking? It was like, what were you thinking? Right? But Wendy owned it. Like, she owned it.
I mean, it was very like 80s inspired. I thought I didn't like it, but
yeah,
Potomac's not known for their fashion.
No, they are not.
Yeah, especially according to Alexia from Real Housewives of Miami.
Yeah, I don't think they're so known either. So I don't know who thinks she should be talking.
I loved how someone asked Mia why her dress has changed from blazers to Fashion Nova.
Yes.
And then she basically admits that she's getting paid from Fashion Nova.
By the way, I didn't realize she was doing, I was just going to look into Fashion Nova and see.
Really?
Yeah, because I think we can get like a brand ambassador deal with them. So we may be wearing Fashion Nova too.
It's not like Shein, is it? Is it like?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's not like child labor.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I mean, let's hope.
Then
Listen, we're going to do some investigating.
Yeah, we're going to look into this first.
Yeah, we're going to do some investigating.
We're not going to push anything like that.
Then Andy asked Ashley. He also said that she looked hot as a man, and what her family thought. Like, what was their reaction? And she's like, "Well, my 77-year-old grandma thought it was great," which I love that.
Absolutely.
Then they go on a break and they come back from the break. And before they come back, Andy whispers, I don't know if you saw this because I watched on Peacock, to Ashley, he loves her hair. And did you see that?
Giselle
Giselle's
goes,
like, he's
he
not
wasn't talking to me.
No. Right. Exactly.
But Stacy did say, when somebody said who pulls off the best blonde, Stacy said Giselle. And she does.
Yeah,
I mean,
she does.
Giselle's hair color is the perfect shade for her.
It is.
Perfect. So I don't. Cal does her hair. I was going to say, I don't know who does her hair, but we do know who does her hair.
Yes.
Cal. So good job, Cal.
I agree. Ashley's hair looked very good at the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. It looked good. But then Jacqueline comes out and we find out that she's due in May and that Ashley reminds her that their set that they're sitting on is Panama, and that was the last time the two of them had kissed. Giselle asked if maybe she was the baby daddy. And that's when she said the father has never been on Bravo and it is not PP. Then they asked if he was at the finale and she didn't say no.
She said more to come.
More to come.
If you're interested, which I'm personally not.
Yeah.
But maybe some people are interested in Jacqueline.
Yeah.
I'm not. Don't you think she's doing that so she gets asked back in some capacity?
I mean, it could be, because if Mia doesn't come back, there's no chance she's coming back.
Exactly. I totally agree with you.
That's probably what it's all about. So then they start talking about the Mia, the Gordon, and Ink thing and how the whole convoluted situation, and they keep, playing clips. And then Andy says, you and Ink recently announced that, you're separated. What happened? And Mia says it's complicated, and she starts crying.
You see Giselle rolling her eyes?
Yeah. And Andy says, but your tagline is Ink is permanent. Well, Mia said, well, he's still my best friend and he'll always be in my life. Then Wendy had some nice things to say about him.
She did.
Which I was surprised. I was very surprised, to be quite honest with you.
I do think Wendy calls it like she sees it, though. Like, I don't think Wendy gets emotional about things, except when you talk about her husband and I'm sure her children.
Yeah.
I don't blame her either.
Yeah, she said he's a kind, he's a respectful gentleman. She said she didn't think Ink knew what he was getting himself into.
Maybe the fans' comments got to him.
Right, and him getting all the backlash. And she thinks he just dipped out and said, okay, I'm done. And then
which I'm sure he was getting some bad comments because people love G. I love G.
Yeah.
And whether you want Mia and G to be together or not, we want to see G on the show. It's like Ray. Like I want to see Ray on the show. I like Ray. But this guy's coming in like her side piece, basically.
Yeah, but then we see the whole Gordon reaction to him, and that's really where the problem lies, is that Gordon says, I'm not filming with him. I will not do this with him. And it makes Mia look like an idiot.
And the way Giselle was talking about it, like, leads me to believe that, like, somehow Giselle knew. Giselle knew without watching the show, obviously. She wanted no part of filming with Ink. So that must have been a thing.
Well, she also said she doesn't think that they really broke up and that they're still together and that this is what Mia does and that Mia lives in Atlanta.
Yes, she did say that.
And Ink lives in Atlanta. And, the big question was asked, well, where do the kids go to school? Or they go to a private school, a private homeschool. Every homeschool is private.
Exactly.
Is there a public homeschool?
Seen her kids in uniforms? I feel like we've seen her kids in school uniforms. So that's not a homeschool. You don't wear a uniform to all. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there are some homeschools where you wear uniforms, but I really did think that her kids went to like a charter school or a private school, because I thought I remember seeing them in
I don't know,
uniforms.
But it does make a little bit more sense, because when we saw where Mia is living now in that apartment that she's overlooking DC, I'm like, this is a really nice apartment. This has got to be crazy expensive.
Super expensive. I mean, DC is expensive anyway. So to get a place like that with a view.
Right.
Ridiculous.
So,
and she and G both have separate units.
Right. So I don't know. Like, that made more sense. Then Wendy jumps in and said, I'll be honest with you, it's a lie. Mia, Gordon, and Ink are all in on it. And this whole thing is orchestrated. And as soon as you started seeing all the backlash, that's when, you know, you started posting the pictures with G and Ink and the kids. And then you came up with the breaking up story.
Right. It's all for the show.
And then Andy said, but she's getting divorced. And Wendy said, that's a lie. I think it's a lie, too.
You don't think they're getting divorced?
I don't.
So do you think that it's just they're going to legally stay married for the kids' sake, for financial reasons? There's a million reasons to stay married, but she's going to be with Ink and Gordon's just going to be okay with it.
Listen, I kind of think that that's what's been going on the whole time.
You're probably right. Yeah.
I think that that's what's been going on the whole time.
You're probably right.
Then a viewer asked Mia if she told her kids about the divorce for the first time on camera. And Mia said, well, what she wanted to do is to go to family counselor and with the kids and tell them, but you didn't. So you did tell them on camera. And she didn't admit it, but that's what happened. Which is, honestly, it's horrifying.
But you know what? But she kind of didn't, because what she said to them, and they flash back, is, don't you remember mommy told you that whatever she said, mommy and daddy are going to get divorced? And they were like, no. But she said, don't you remember we talked about? So she had talked to them about it before.
I don't know.
But they're kids. They're like,
I
who
know.
knows with her level of communication, like, who knows? She does seem like she's just a walking lie.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's really the problem. And then the whole paternity issue comes out, wanting to know, does Jeremiah know anything about this? Like, I mean, she had the conversation. He was not that far away. And she said, well, no, he doesn't know. He doesn't have social media. He's only 9. Okay, I get that he's only 9, but he knows.
He knows. And like somebody said, his friends' parents, like you can't put something out on national television and think you're going to hide it from your child.
Right.
Even if he doesn't know today, he's going to know, in 2 weeks from now. And that's no different.
Right. I mean, Mia does admit that she should not have put this information out there, that she shouldn't have put it on camera. But, once it's out, it's out.
That was her storyline, though. That was her thing to get her back this year, saying it last year.
Mia says that they have now done a professional paternity test, even though I believe the first one was professional as well. And Jeremiah is Gordon's child.
So I don't know, I didn't deal with IVF.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Kay says to Mia, your stories aren't adding up. And Wendy points out that you have to take a pregnancy test before you do IVF, which, somebody who's never had to deal with IVF,
right?
That wouldn't even occur to me, but it totally makes sense.
Right. No,
and Mia's arguing it. It's like, what are you doing?
Right. It doesn't, listen.
None of it makes sense.
No.
So Ink could not have impregnated her before IVF because they would have known she was pregnant. I mean, the kid's 9 years old?
Yeah.
The technology was out 10 years ago where if you were 2 weeks pregnant, if an IVF doctor is testing you, not, Clear Blue from Walmart, but if an IVF doctor is testing you, they're going to know you're pregnant.
Definitely, they will know you're pregnant. I mean, and if she's doing IVF, that means that they have retrieved her eggs and then they've created ovaries and they're implanting ovaries. I mean, they recreate embryos. I'm sorry.
I knew what you meant.
I'm like, ovaries. No, embryos.
No, we can't create ovaries.
No, they're retrieving.
But I knew what you meant.
They're retrieving her eggs and they are creating embryos with his sperm and they're implanting embryos.
Right.
So, they know what's going on in there.
Yes, exactly.
They know what's going on.
To somebody who's, I mean, not only did I don't know, now I know people, but it just never occurred to me. But now that I'm hearing it, I'm like, it's common sense, people.
Right.
Like, how could she be lying about that? It's literally common sense. She's sticking to it, though. And the whole time this conversation's going on, I don't know if you noticed this, Giselle's boob was literally about to pop out. Like, I was waiting for her nipple to just pop out.
I mean, we can certainly talk about that because I was going to bring that up. Every single one of them had the worst dress for a reunion to be sitting down. All of their boobs were popping out, whether it was the side or the top, or they were pressed in so hard that they looked like they were in pain.
I'll make you laugh. I'm watching it last night, and Tess was in the living room with me, and Joe came in, and I paused it, where like 3 of them were sitting there with their boobs like literally falling out of their dress. And Joe, so I asked Joe a question, and he went to answer, and he looked at the TV. He's like, "What are you watching?" Like, it was just, I just started laughing. I'm like, I know it's all boobs. He's like, it's all boobs. I'm like, I know.
It's so stupid. Like, what?
It looked ridiculous. It just looked ridiculous.
I just want to tell, I would like to fire all them, their stylists. They need to fire. Like, why do they let them wear these dresses to a reunion? They are sitting down. Yeah. Excuse me. Any stylist for a housewife for a reunion, please make sure that the dress looks great or better sitting than it does standing.
Right. They're sitting for 12 hours.
Right.
I mean, New York, did you notice in New York, every time they took a break, Sai took her dress off?
Yeah.
When they were filming at break time, Sai had her dress off. I'm thinking, like, you think about going to a wedding. You're there for 5 hours.
I know.
Like, of course you want to look amazing, but you also want to be comfortable because you're wearing this for 5 hours. They're wearing this for 12.
Yeah. I've noticed many of the reunions where they do that. They'll take their dresses off on the break. Because, like you said, they're very uncomfortable and, you know.
Yeah.
You want to be comfortable.
It was definitely a boob vibe.
Yes.
Boob-themed reunion.
Yes, it was.
Titties out.
So then Andy asks Jacqueline what's her take on this whole situation.
I hate her.
And Jacqueline said, well, it's familiar. And he's like, well, what does that mean? And she said, well, I've seen this before with Gordon and Inc. Like, they'll be getting along fine and everything's good. And then all of a sudden it's not.
She blames Gordon's mood swings.
Right. But she did say, I have told Mia that I don't think that Gordon and Inc. should be around together around the kids. Which, I mean, we can certainly all agree on that.
Yeah.
Kay jumps in and says what she is seeing is Gordon is an elderly man and it almost looks like elder abuse. I thought that was a bit of a stretch.
That was a little harsh, Kay.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit of a stretch.
Even Giselle was like, oh, like, damn.
Like elder abuse.
That was harsh. That was harsh.
And Mia said he's one way when, they're together and then all of a sudden the camera comes on and he turns into a different person and that he wanted to come here today to apologize to Mia and explain how, he is the one who made this. I'm like.
So why didn't he?
She wouldn't let him.
Right.
She wouldn't let him.
That's not why he wanted to come. He was not going to apologize to her for doing anything.
Right. Right.
Making her look like a liar. She is a liar.
And, I mean, she's a little foolish because they could certainly take a camera and go talk to G.
They probably will.
I hope they do.
Bravo, pick the cameras back up.
Yeah, go talk to G. Please
go talk
let us
to
know.
G.
Yep.
Somebody said it. Was it Ashley or Giselle? They're like, where is Gordon? I think it was Ashley. Mia was spinning something, and Ashley was like, where is Gordon?
And then Wendy brings up about Mia, said, when we were in Miami and we were talking about the relationship of the group, you said we were all like Destiny's Child. Everyone is Michelle, and I'm Beyonce.
Crazy.
And then everyone's like, wait, what's wrong with Michelle?
I mean, for her to call herself Beyonce.
I know.
When Giselle has already said she has been mistaken for Beyonce. If I have to give the Beyonce to somebody, it's going to be Giselle.
Honestly, I would have to agree. I would have to agree. In this group.
For sure.
In this group.
And I would give Wendy Kelly, and the rest of them could be Michelle's.
Okay.
Not that there's anything wrong.
That's what
Michelle.
Wendy said she wanted to be Kelly, right? Yeah.
Michelle has beautiful Christian songs.
Yeah. Well, that's what they were doing before Destiny's Child.
Was it?
Kelly and Michelle were both doing like Christian music.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Let's see. What's next?
Andy asks Jacqueline about Mia, and she said that Mia has always been honest with her, but she does exaggerate.
Yes.
So, to me, that's the closest you're going to get to Jacqueline saying that Mia's lying.
Yes, that's it. That's all she's going to get. And then a viewer asks Mia if she's all stressed out about her children, what makes her think it's okay to bring up Giselle's daughters? And Mia said, well, I didn't think it was okay. And I apologized to her. And Giselle says, well, then, when Ashley was dressed in drag, you went after me again about my daughters and you got up in my face again.
And why they didn't air that? We saw it last night.
Yeah, they didn't air
that.
They didn't air it. And Giselle said, honestly, what Giselle said was harsh. She said, you're a terrible mother and I stand by it. That's harsh. It really is.
Harsh. I agree. It's
harsh. It's harsh. I think I would have gotten up too.
Yeah.
I don't know. So she did. Mia got up and, she said, I'm done.
I do agree that putting the paternity of your child on national television is
I do too.
Unacceptable.
I do too.
But I don't think she should call her a terrible mother.
No, I think that those are like
yeah.
So she goes and walks off. Then we see Greg and Eddie are in the back and they FaceTime TJ. And, he said he had to get evacuated because of the fire. And Eddie said, we're here at the reunion. And TJ's exact words are, he's done with that fake ass bullshit. And then Wendy gets the text from Eddie about his conversation on camera. And then we see that coming up next, we're going to see the bombshell about TJ and Karen being with a man the night of the accident.
Yes. Yeah, they haven't even mentioned that yet.
Right. So the next episode is going to be really good too.
It is. A lot of people online I saw on social media today were like, the reunion's making up for a bad season. I don't think it was a bad season. I think it was a fine season.
I do too.
I'm tired of the Mia bullshit, but I think we're seeing the best version of Giselle we've ever seen. And I think that Karen's true colors are coming through. And I stand corrected. I was always a Karen fan. I always liked Karen more than Giselle, but I think that Karen's days are done.
Yeah.
On Real Housewives of Potomac.
I agree.
Although, I don't know, we have to see because, again, they brought Teresa back and,
yeah,
she went to prison. So we'll see. But they're certainly not going to halt filming for her like they did.
No, they are not going to halt filming. We are recording this on Tuesday evening, 25th. On the 26th, she is supposed to be sentenced.
Mm-hmm.
But her attorney has...
attorney.
Yes, her two new attorneys has sent a message to the judge and has some new information, which really isn't new information. I don't know if she will. I hope that she's still sentenced. I hope whatever this attorney's trying to do, I hope that she gets, it's been going on since last March.
Listen, it all comes down to the judge, and the judge should say, no, we're not putting this off. She's being sentenced tomorrow. This has gone on long enough. This is her fourth offense. Fourth.
Right.
There are Ubers, there are taxis, there are people to call to drive you home. You chose to do none of that, and you chose to get behind the wheel, we think, unless somebody else was driving, and they're not coming forward, which I don't know. At this point, all of the strings they're trying to pull, don't you think at this point, if somebody else were driving, they would have said it by now?
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah, exactly.
We also saw a clip earlier on where Wendy said that she goes someplace and they said that Karen is in there every day drunk. We haven't seen that yet.
On the next one, right?
Right. So we're going to hear from Ashley. We're going to hear from Wendy. I don't know. I can't imagine that somebody else was driving that car and she's going to go down for this.
No, me neither. She had to have been driving, but to hear the way she was talking when she got pulled out of that car, like nobody thought to stop her unless wherever she was, she has been there before drinking, exhibited this behavior, left, and was fine. Not fine, but got home, managed to get home. So this was like any other night with her, which is sad.
It is sad. It is sad. Well, we're just going to have to wait and see. So we're going to have to, when we find out the news, we will, we'll do a post about it.
Yeah. Or maybe a quick little pod.
Yeah, we can just jump on or just do a quick TikTok, whatever. Yeah, because we're all interested. We want to know what's going to happen to Karen.
Yeah, I think she has to face some consequences.
I do too. And I will, listen, what do you think? Do you think Ray's going to stick by her? I think he is, actually.
Of course.
I think Ray's going to stick by Karen.
I think at this point, if the rumors are true about blue eyes and all that, like, listen, maybe they just have that kind of marriage. He's older than her. It's the same thing with Gordon and Mia. I mean,
Yes,
a little bit of age differences, but like, Ray's of a certain age where he's, Karen's his partner, his person, and, through thick or thin, where's he going?
Right.
Right. Where's he going? And I'm sure it's the same thing with Gordon and me. I'm sure they weren't really having an intimate relationship at this point, especially if he was having mental health issues, but that's his person. And, all right. So you want to see ink on the side and we'll just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, but be discreet about it next time.
Oh, for the love of God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Ray will stick by her, especially because, their daughter, Raven.
Yeah.
It's a very sad situation. You don't want to see this happen to anyone. But 4 times, she has to face some consequences. 2. We thought it was 2, right?
Yeah, and supposedly the third one was dropped down to a lesser charge, but it was a DUI.
Yeah.
They pulled strings together.
Remember when this happened with Monique and they tried to bury her with it, those women?
Yes. Yeah, I do remember that.
I wish I knew what season it was because I'd like to go back and watch and see how Karen's
reacted. Such a hypocrite. She's such a hypocrite.
But I think she was good with Monique because I think Giselle, because I think Giselle was the one who was the hardest on Monique. So I think Karen was, because it's always that way. Whoever Giselle doesn't like, Karen moseys up to.
Right.
So I'm going to try to go back and see what season that was.
All right.
Because these are the things I think about.
I know. In your spare time.
In my spare time.
I don't have anything else. I guess we just have to wait. We have one more episode of the reunion, and then we'll be done with Potomac.
Atlanta's got to be starting soon, right?
Atlanta and the Love Hotel.
Oh, yeah, Love Hotel.
And something else is coming up too.
Well, we still have Beverly Hills.
Oh, yes, we do. But I think the next episode is the finale or the one before. I think there's only 2 more episodes.
Beverly Hills?
Yes, I think so.
That's a short season.
Let me see.
I feel like it just started.
We are on Beverly Hills. Let me check. Episode 12 we did last.
Well, yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. Potomac. Well, actually, Potomac had 17. That's a lot.
Like before the reunion started?
Yeah. Well, before the reunion. That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It varies. We never know what we're getting anymore because Roni only had 15.
Yeah. Well, they got cut short.
They cut short.
Because of the trip. Right. But we've said it before. Jersey
got cut
never
short.
Has 15 anymore.
Well, this time they got cut short.
Yeah.
This season got cut short.
Did you see where somebody called into Radio Andy and because he was on vacation when that bullshit came out and Andy was like, there are no decisions. Nothing has been said. No decisions have been made. I hope he realizes that it was Teresa's camp that put this out.
He's not stupid. He knows what's going on.
I know.
So someone also asked Andy about, what is her name? Kelly Ben-Simone. So Kelly Ben-Simone has given Andy a list of other housewives, and he confirmed that, in fact, she did give him a list with herself also on it. And one of the people on the list, they both know would never do it, like would never do the show.
Interesting.
And she also has herself as like the center person to all the other people that she's put on the list.
Of course she does.
And that's all he'll confirm.
I wonder if the other person's like Kelly Ripa.
Whoever the other person was, I think they've already been asked and said no. So they know that this person is not going to do it. I don't know. I don't think they would do this. Kelly Ripa would never do it.
No, that's what I mean. If it's somebody they both know would never do it.
No, I think it's
she's like the quintessential, even though she's from like Philly area. She's like the quintessential.
She's from Jersey.
She is from Jersey. I'm sorry. She is from Jersey, but she used to film that show. Dance Party USA, which I believe was filmed in Philly. That's where she, first was on TV before she started acting in a soap opera.
Yeah.
You're right. She is a Jersey girl, I think, but South Jersey near Philly, I think.
It could be. Or actually, something tells me Monmouth County.
I don't know.
I don't know
Listen,
either.
we're going to do the research, people. We'll get back to you. We're going to fact check all of this.
Or maybe we don't. Listen, if you guys have the answers to these
I had a couple of glasses of wine. I could forget about this in 10 minutes.
Okay, well, until next time, thank you for watching and listening to We Wine Whenever. Please give us 5-star reviews and subscribe. Check out our YouTube channel. If you're just listening to us, check out YouTube. You get to see us. Sometimes we make funny faces.
We do.
You never know. So,
and we had a very nice night in AC Sunday night. We stayed at Ocean Resort, which I love the rooms there. Aren't the rooms beautiful?
The rooms are very nice.
They're very spacious, ocean
Yes.
view. We stayed at Ocean Resort. We spent the night there, dinner, the whole thing. And then the next day we went to Hard Rock Spa.
Yes.
And that was very relaxing. We spent hours there because the facility's so nice. So
Yes.
check those 2 places out in Atlantic City.
Yep. And we're going to post those too on our social media. So check it out.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.